Which is better, the Samsung Galaxy A71 or the Apple iPhone 11? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A71 and the iPhone 11. Now, the Galaxy A71 is very new. The phone came out about a month ago and so far has been a very popular device. I know that many of you have been very interested in this phone, and for a good reason. It's a very competitive product from Samsung being offered at a very good price. And the iPhone 11 was launched in kind of the fall of 2019, so it's not a very old device, but it's also not necessarily really new to the market. You can buy the Samsung Galaxy A71 for around $399. Now, since the phone is new, I'm sure over time the price will keep going down, so certainly take a look at the link in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for the phone. And Apple offers the iPhone 11 at $699. So you are paying significantly less if you go for the Samsung Galaxy A71 compared to the iPhone 11. In fact, you're going to be saving roughly $300 by going with this phone. So is the iPhone 11 worth the $300 premium? Well, that's what we're going to find out in this video. So the first thing I want to talk about is carrier support. So currently, at the time of me making this video, there is only one variant of the Galaxy A71 out, and that is the international version of the phone. So at least in the US, this phone officially will only work with GSM carriers, which includes AT&T, T-Mobile, and the various other carriers based on those networks. Now the iPhone 11, at least this one, which I bought from the Apple Store, does work with all four major US carriers, including Sprint and Verizon, so the iPhone 11 does offer better carrier support overall. But if you are with a GSM carrier, then both of these phones will provide you with great coverage. Now, the Samsung Galaxy A71 features a very large display at 6.7 inches compared to the 6.1-inch display with the iPhone 11. So you can see, holding up the bases of these displays at the same level, the Galaxy A71's display is way bigger, definitely a lot bigger compared to the iPhone 11. But in addition to that, the Galaxy A71 features a Super AMOLED display at 1080p with a 393 ppi and a 20:9 aspect ratio. And then the iPhone 11 features an LCD display, which is certainly a downgrade from AMOLED. The device features a resolution slightly above 720p at 828 by 1792, giving you a PPI of 326. And the phone features a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. So AMOLED is definitely a lot better than LCD. That's pretty commonly known. LCD is an older display technology that's been around for a long time, but you're going to be getting better viewing angles with the Galaxy A71 thanks to the display technology. But even beyond that, having a 1080p display is a nice upgrade compared to the iPhone 11's lower display resolution. Now, there's another big difference between these two devices that I'm sure you've had on your mind throughout the entire duration of this video so far. And that is that the Galaxy A71 features this really tiny hole punch for the front-facing camera. And then with the iPhone 11, we're getting this massive notch. Now, I can't believe that in 2020, the notch is still this large on one of Apple's latest flagship devices. The design with the Galaxy A71 definitely looks a lot better in my opinion compared to the design of the iPhone 11. In addition to that, the side bezels in the iPhone 11 are a lot thicker compared to the side bezels with the Galaxy A71. So overall, I would say that the Galaxy A71 looks like a fresh, new device that you'd expect to see in 2020, and the iPhone 11 still looks like it's stuck in 2018. Now up top here with the Galaxy A71, we're getting a 32 megapixel front-facing camera compared to a 12 megapixel front-facing camera with the iPhone 11. So a lot higher of a megapixel count with the Galaxy A71 compared to what we're getting with the iPhone 11. Now I will say that Apple does have superior face unlock technology with Face ID in this device, so it is a lot more advanced and secure compared to the face unlock with the Galaxy A71. Now internally, The Galaxy A71 features 128 gigabytes of storage, and if that's not enough for you, you can even put a micro SD card in the phone. And with the iPhone 11, it is available with a variety of different storage configurations, but this base model of the phone, which again is $699, gives you 64 gigabytes of internal storage. So you're getting half the amount of internal storage with the iPhone 11 compared to the Galaxy A71. And unfortunately, the iPhone 11 does not have a micro SD card slot, so you are stuck with the amount of internal storage that the device comes with. And beyond that, you're going to have to use cloud storage. Now, the Galaxy A71 does not have wireless charging, and we do get that feature with the iPhone 11. And I am a big fan of wireless charging, so I'm glad to see that the iPhone 11 does have that. Now, with the Galaxy A71, the phone, in addition to having the ability to unlock via your face, also features an in-display fingerprint sensor, which is nice and fast and responsive. It really does work well, so I really like having that feature. I remember for a while, that was a feature that you only saw with flagship devices like the Galaxy S10 and the OnePlus 7 Pro, but that feature did make its way over to the Galaxy A70, which is the predecessor to the Galaxy A71, and it's only gotten better with the A71. And with the iPhone 11, you better like Face Unlock because there is no fingerprint sensor on the front or rear of the phone. I don't necessarily mind the Face ID with the iPhone 11, but at the very least, if they could just give us a fingerprint sensor on the power button, that would have been really nice to see. But no, that's not available. So let's now talk about the cameras. Now, I'll give Apple credit for pioneering this kind of squared off camera module that was first found with the iPhone 11. Then after that, we saw Google implement the camera design with their Pixel 4. And then Samsung has gone all in with a squared off camera module. We've seen this with the Galaxy A51. We've also seen it with the new Galaxy S20 flagship, and we have it here with the Galaxy A71. So with the Galaxy A71, we have a quad camera setup. So we have a 64 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, and we have a 5 megapixel macro camera. And with the iPhone 11, we have a dual camera setup with a 12 megapixel main camera and a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. Now, the situation here is actually not as different as you might think. And what I mean by that is that Apple, of course, does implement a depth sensing camera into the ultra wide angle camera. So even though this phone does have less cameras, it is consolidating more features into the cameras that it does have, which I'm completely fine with. And then for the ultra wide angle cameras, they're the same megapixel count. And then the iPhone 11 does not have a macro camera, but with my experience of using the macro camera with the Galaxy A71, it's not extremely useful because you can actually take photos with the 64 megapixel camera and crop in quite a bit to replicate that macro mode, and the final results actually look better by using the regular camera compared to the macro camera. So I personally think the macro camera with the Galaxy A71 is a gimmick, but on the other hand, you don't necessarily have that zooming in capability with the iPhone 11 since it is just 12 megapixels. Now, I know that there are other models from Apple, such as the iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max, which do feature a dedicated telephoto camera, but the Galaxy A71 does have a trick up its sleeve. Since the phone does have a 64 megapixel main camera, you can actually zoom in quite a bit without losing too much quality at all. In fact, with the A71, if you zoom in, for example, at just 2x, there is no noticeable reduction in photo quality or video quality. So it's almost like this phone does have telephoto camera, even though it's not a dedicated camera, because you can replicate the results from a telephoto camera with the main camera on the device. But with the iPhone 11, there is no telephoto camera, of course, and then since it is just 12 megapixels, you won't even really be able to zoom in too far either. So I do like Samsung's approach with packing in 64 megapixels with the main camera with the A71. I wish Apple would do that, hopefully with future models of the iPhone. They really do amp up the megapixel count with the phone because I do feel like that's the way of the future versus having a dedicated telephoto camera. Now with the Galaxy A71, we're getting 6 gigabytes of RAM, at least with this variant. I know there's also an 8 gigabyte variant of the phone as well, but with the iPhone 11, we're just getting 4 gigs of RAM. And with the Galaxy A71, we're getting the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730 processor. And with the iPhone 11, we are getting one of the latest and greatest processors from Apple, which is the Apple A13 Bionic. Now I did run an Antutu benchmark test with both phones, so I'll show you the results of those right now. And there is a pretty big difference here. So with the Galaxy A71, I got an overall score of 264,741 compared to the iPhone 11, which gave me a score of 544,328. And actually, out of all the different phones I own, this phone does have the best Antutu benchmark scores overall, so I'll give Apple credit for that. Overall, you should expect to get better performance with the iPhone 11 compared to the Galaxy A71. But that essentially is really the only feature that the iPhone 11 has that's better than the A71. So you have to decide, is it worth spending the extra $300 to get better performance with the iPhone 11? Or would you rather have all the extra other features, but a little bit slower performance with the Galaxy A71, and then also have an additional $300 in your pocket? That's a choice that you need to make. Now, both phones feature 4K video recording for both the front and rear cameras. Now, one cool thing though is that the iPhone 11 does support 4K video recording at 60 FPS with both the front and rear cameras, and we do not get 60 FPS 4K recording with the Galaxy A71. Now, as far as the software goes with the Galaxy A71, we're getting Android 10 paired up with Samsung's One UI 2.0. So we're getting a bunch of really cool features. One of them, for example, is this cool App Edge, but there's so many other features. I've actually done a dedicated tips and tricks video about the Galaxy A71, going through all of the really awesome features regarding the device, so definitely make sure to check that out. And with the iPhone 11, it runs iOS 13. One of the cool things about iPhones is that Apple does continue to update the software for a very long period of time, with some devices getting updates for up to 5 years. I will tell you that with the A71, you're certainly not going to be getting updates for 5 years. That is for sure. But if that doesn't matter to you, then that's not something that would go into your decision for which phone to pick. Now with the Samsung Galaxy A71, we're getting a massive battery at 4,500 milliamp hours, compared to a smaller battery with the iPhone 11 at 3,110 milliamp hours. Now that we've compared the specifications of these two devices, let's take a closer look at the hardware. So I already talked quite a bit about the front panel here. So we're getting a better display overall with the Galaxy A71. It's a better display technology with it being AMOLED. It's a better resolution at 1080p. It's a better aspect ratio at 20:9. It's a better PPI with 393. And then we're getting a tiny hole punch for the front-facing camera compared to this really massive notch with the iPhone 11. So that's pretty much everything I have to say about the front panels here on these two devices. But taking a look at the side of the two phones, with the Galaxy A71, it is a plastic build, so you do get a plastic band on the side, compared to the iPhone 11, which gives you metal on the sides. Now on the left side of the Galaxy A71, we're getting the slot for the microSD card and SIM cards. By the way, I forgot to mention that the Galaxy A71 is dual SIM compatible, whereas with the iPhone 11, you get one SIM card slot, but the phone also is eSIM compatible, but it seems like the carriers are really slow at adopting eSIM, and I personally don't even know anyone that uses eSIM, so I don't know if that's useful or not to you. Let me know what you think about eSIM in the comments below. Taking a look at the right side of the two phones, with the Galaxy A71, we have the power button and we have the volume button. And then on the left side of the iPhone 11, we have the mute switch and we have the volume buttons. I'm definitely a big fan of this mute switch. I wish that every phone had that, but it seems like Apple is one of the few companies right now that is implementing a dedicated mute switch. Taking a look at the right side of the two phones, with the Galaxy A71, we have the volume button and with the power button. And with the iPhone 11, we have a single button here, which is both the power button and the Siri button. Taking a look at the top of the two devices, with the Galaxy A71, we just have the noise canceling microphone, and with the iPhone 11, we have nothing. And then taking a look at the bottoms of the two phones, with the Galaxy A71, we have the speaker, we have the microphone, we have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. And with the iPhone 11, we have the speaker, microphone, and lightning port. I really wish Apple would implement USB-C with their iPhones. Seriously, it's 2020 by this point. Come on, Apple, please. Give us USB-C. It's cool that Lightning is really small and compact, but USB-C really is taking over. I know that the iPad Pro now has USB-C, so let's bring that over to the iPhones. But taking a look at the back of the two devices, I already talked a lot about the cameras, but we have the cameras there. Then we have the logos for the two companies. And then on the back of the Galaxy A71, we have this material that Samsung calls Glastic. And with the iPhone 11, we do have glass. Now the Galaxy A71 does have this really cool kind of rainbow tint to it on the back, whereas the iPhone 11, at least this specific phone, is in the product red color. Let's now do a speed test comparison of these two devices. So I have cleared out all of the recent applications with both phones. And we're going to start by pulling up the camera. So 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the iPhone 11 is the quicker device of the two at pulling up the camera. Let's pull up the web browsers now on both devices. So 1, 2, 3, go. And the iPhone 11 was quicker at pulling up the first page here. Let's go to yahoo.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like in this test here, the Galaxy A71 is first to pull up Yahoo. Let's go to engadget.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the iPhone 11 is first to pull up the video here on the homepage, with the Galaxy A71 really not too far behind. So pretty impressive performance from both phones. Now with both devices, I have the brightness turned up at 100%. And this is really where the display with the Galaxy A71 is especially impressive. You can see that the colors are a lot brighter and clearer overall with the A71 compared to the iPhone 11, which in comparison looks kind of dull and drab. Definitely let me know what you think and what your opinion is of the displays here. But you can also see as well that with the Galaxy A71, you're able to fit a lot more content into the display as well. And keep in mind that if I wanted to, I could actually turn on gestures with the Galaxy A71, which would give me even more screen real estate. But you can see with both phones, scrolling is smooth. I will say that scrolling is definitely smoother though with the iPhone 11, but the Galaxy A71 isn't too far behind. You can also do smooth pinch to zoom with both devices, so I think you'll be very happy with the performance of either of these two phones personally, but let me know what you think. Let's go to this article. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the Galaxy A71 is first to pull up the article. Now keep in mind, both phones are connected to the same Wi-Fi network, so that's something you should certainly consider. So which is the better choice? That is the question that all of you are probably wondering. And if you want to save $300, and if you want extra features like a 64 megapixel camera and a macro camera and a Super AMOLED display and 1080p resolution, a larger display size, no notch, and certainly less intrusion by having that hole punch for the front-facing camera, smaller bezels, and a much larger battery. And then of course there's also tons of extra features that Samsung packs into their operating system, then you might want to consider going with the Samsung Galaxy A71. But if you do want a phone that runs Apple's iOS operating system and you want to remain or begin being part of Apple's ecosystem, then the iPhone 11 is the phone for you. So I'm really curious what you think about these two devices. Would you rather go the iPhone route or the Galaxy A71 route? Definitely curious to know your thoughts about these two devices for sure. But give this video a thumbs up, and if you want to buy either of these two devices or just see the current pricing for them, then take a look at the link in the video description as well. But this is Kevin here. This is the Samsung Galaxy A71. This is the Apple iPhone 11, and I will see you in the next video.